episode, we dealt with the aftermath of Mimi's demise. After a succinct and positively explosive funeral, our cyberpunks left to meet with Joe and Sue, nomads, who would take them to Texas. But before that, they met up with Natalia, our newest group member, who informed them that the fixer who was helping them, Michael Hart, is actually setting them up. He is covertly working for Seki Okano, director of Arasaka's Southeastern United States Regional Office. And Natalia suggested that they go to Corpus Christi and from there drive to Night City to deliver Adriana Young, the clone, who everybody seems to want right now, which is why everybody's after this group. After they secured their flight to Texas, our cyberpunks nabbed a vehicle and have set off to Night City. And that's where we will begin. It's 1,650 miles from Corpus Christi to Night City, and you know your path. From San Antonio, you drive west into New Mexico. From Albuquerque, it's a straight shot to Night City. So, our last episode, everybody piled up into their vehicle that they so very nicely borrowed. And they set off for San Antonio, which they arrived to without a hitch. It's a safe road and it's well maintained. From there, you drive along the I-10 to New Mexico. As you drive further into Texas and into New Mexico, the long, poorly maintained roads is infrequently traveled. Many of the towns that once thrived here before the collapse of America have been abandoned, turned into nothing more than unremarkable scenery. Whatever was left was salvaged for parts long ago, leaving only empty husks to decay in the dry heat. Life is beginning to return to the barren stretches of New Mexico, however. Periodically, you see jackals, traditional abodes made by the Pueblo people, who in recent years have been reestablishing themselves as independent nations in the New Mexico area. For the most part, they leave you alone as you travel along the mostly featureless journey. You guys talk about anything on your journey here, or I could continue along as well?
I think Siga's pretty focused on the road right now. She's got a cigarette hanging out of her mouth. She's up in the front seat driving this time around. She wants to have that like modicum of control because everything else feels extremely out of control right now. So she's just eyes straight ahead, looking into the desert.
I would imagine Natalia is probably in the passenger seat next to you. She's maybe trying to make idle conversation. But she feels a little awkward and a little put out by the rest of this group just because they just kind of went through a lot of trauma. I think she's gonna ask, so your sister, she was also a techie.
Yep.
She seemed to be a pretty smart girl from what Boris told me. What happened?
Yep. Sig's just not even looking over at you.
It's a shame.
Colt's going to give Axel a knock on the shoulder to diffuse the situation, and he has his hand out expectantly.
I think as soon as Natalia says it's a shame, everyone is going to get thrust forward very violently in this car because Sig just slammed on the brakes. And she is going to bring the car to a full stop in the middle of the road and look over at Natalia. Get out.
No.
Whoa, 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 whoa.
Get in the back. I don't know. Get in the back.
Why? Did I strike a nerve? I've been no ill intent, I assure you.
That's great, but I'd rather not share the front seat with you.
All right. Your choice.
Colt, I think you should take the passenger seat.
I will as soon as you hand me one of those candies.
Oh, yeah. Here, I hand you 2 of them.
I think Natalia is going to get out, no problem, and she'll come around. Who's sitting behind Sig?
Probably me.
Move over.
To the middle?
I don't care where you move over to. Move over.
I think I'm good.
Move over. I assure you. We can make this a much more drawn out experience, but I like this seat best.
Okay. I'll switch seats.
Excellent. And she's going to sit directly behind Sig. She does have her case in which she carries her rifle, and she doesn't unzip it, but she definitely has it in her hand. Is this better now? Do you like this better?
She doesn't respond. Does anyone move up front?
Colt does.
Okay.
He's loudly unwrapping, sucking candy and smoking one of Sig's cigarettes. He
Appropriately
plops
so.
down in the front seat, foot up on the dash, no seatbelt.
She just starts the car back up, shifts it into gear, and starts riding down the road again.
I think you would feel Natalia's eyes on the back of your head. And probably the smile on her face.
Sig is just stoned face staring at the road. There's a lot going on in here.
A little too much, maybe, but it's fine. Don't worry about it.
All right, so continue along your journey, and until after some time, you see up ahead a sign. It's worn and it's green, and it reads Albuquerque, 15 miles. You know that once you get into Albuquerque, your journey to Night City is halfway there. It's just 4 o'clock in the afternoon when up ahead you see dozens of military vehicles along the road, just parked along the shoulder. You see the emblems on the vehicles. It's the New Mexico militia. The path forward on the road has been completely cut off by these military vehicles, which are completely taken up the way forward.
As soon as Colt spots this, he puts both hands on the dash, peers forward through the windshield, and he's like, "Oh fuck, we're gonna have to find another way around."
Yeah, I think it's gonna be a better idea to go around this. We got a lot of hotness on us right now.
Sig is just kind of listening, but where she would normally speak up, she's She's still remaining pretty quiet. Her eyes are on the road. She doesn't seem to be moving.
Did you happen to see a turnoff on the way back? Or we could go around this somewhere? Colt? Zig?
Maybe Natalia can pull up some nav or something on her computer.
I'm on it, don't worry. And she's starting to do so. She pulls the laptop out and is kind of tippy-tapping along.
I imagine we can see this from pretty like far in the distance, Duro.
Yeah, it's very obvious your way forward is not gonna work out.
Yeah, she's just kind of like going at like a steady pace towards this.
Colt is going through all the weapons on his person, making sure they're loaded. Rounds are chambered, safeties are off.
I think Natalia's doing the same with her rifle. And she has it ready to kind of poke out the window if need be.
I don't know if we should attempt this blockade. I value my life a little bit.
What else do you suggest?
Did you see anything on the map?
Am I getting anything, Duro?
No, there's no like traffic updates or anything like that. It's very unusual. It would seem like this would be just somewhere you could just go straight through.
Well, it doesn't seem that we can really drive around per se. It doesn't really seem that we can return back from whence we came. So we either go through and do our best to fly, or we die.
Alright, well, I think we need to get a story straight here.
Maybe I
Family
should have done that.
vacation?
You see, like Natalia sort of grimace at this idea.
Colt's looking around the vehicle repeatedly.
Come on, it can't be that bad. Can make that work. We're just showing our Russian cousin around, you know?
See Natalia's eyes sort of widen in horror at this. Cousin. I do not have any American cousins.
Well, you never know.
I know. I know all of my cousins.
Sometimes one slips through the crack, you know? Baby gets dropped off at an orphanage.
No. No, I've never done that before. I
Well-
don't know what I don't really know what that means. I don't really quite understand it. I think that Natalia is trying to play dumb to you, and just starts talking in Russian to you. Yeah, I don't really understand what those words are.
See, she plays the part very well. We're good.
I think as they're talking back and forth, and we're getting closer to this blockade, there's going to be a point where Sig just kind of looks over to Colt, and she thumbs a cigarette out of her pack, puts it in her mouth, lights it, and then just smiles. And her foot just gets a little heavier on that gas. And she's gonna start racing towards this blockade.
Colt sees
Sig?
that look. Colt sees that look, and he looks back to the passengers in the backseat and he says, I think you guys got buckle up.
I think you see Natalia sort of like do one of these numbers to protect her head. Like she knows what's happening. She's just bracing for impact.
I think Axel would brace Adriana to protect her from impact.
I think Sig would have definitely like glanced into the rear view mirror to get like a gauge of what's going on. Especially after Natalia wanted to take such a sharp jab there. And when she sees you like ducking, you would definitely catch the glimpse of a smirk in her eyes, and she's just death gripping the wheel and her eyes are like wide and she's fucking stoked, like, yes, be scared.
I think Natalia's scared. I think that she is more so, well, we're doing this, I guess. I don't want a head injury. But
And
Sid can believe that.
Duro, what she's gonna do is she's gonna try to, she's not gonna go straight through, because that's silly. But she is going to try to veer off, because I imagine this is just being like desert. Just veer off and try to do like a whip around this whole commotion that's currently going on right now.
Okay. All right. So you break off into the dry terrain and avoiding the large shrubs that dot the area. Some of the militia, you see them like waving at you, like with both their arms, like, hey, you got to stop, sort of thing. But
She gives him one of these as she's driving by.
yeah, they're no match for you. As you're, you drive off the road and you're just, I would say about maybe like 50 feet off the side. You get a glimpse of what's holding you up. Just past the military vehicles, you see these Native Americans who have barricaded the road using cars, tires, dumpsters, and whatever else they can find. And they're standing on top of this barricade, brandishing all manner of weapons. And the militia there are trying to disperse them. But after a minute or two of driving off the side of here on the road, you're able to get back on and be away from everybody who might want to shoot you.
Does it look like anyone's trying to follow us?
No, and they weren't prepared for such a dangerous move.
Yeah, I think Sig looks quite proud of herself at this. She's probably feeling very smug right now.
I think just for precautionary, you'd see Natalia sort of turn around completely, knees on the seat, with her rifle out, looking out the back window, just watching and waiting to fire.
Pretty sure they got their hands full as it is.
You can never be too careful. Stragglers, they get ballsy.
I think Axel will finally look up, realize after we get back onto the road and go, God damn it, Sig, what the fuck was that?
What? You guys were taking too long. It was annoying.
Colt still doesn't have a seatbelt on, foot up on the dash. He's lighting another one of your cigarettes, or 6 cigarettes with the butt of the one he has. It's just like, that's some nice driving. Be nice to get to where we're going in one piece.
Everybody's fine. We're fine. No one's following us. They have their hands busy. I made an executive decision. I don't got time to fucking waste with some stupid ass blockade.
Natalia will probably sit back, and I think maybe in a moment of trying to understand each other, because I don't think Natalia meant to be upsetting. I think she was just genuinely curious. I think she would sort of flash you a smile, and it is genuine. It is almost to say like, nice job.
I think you get a little nod from Sig. But you picked at the wrong sore. And I think she's quite soured by that right now. Everything's so fresh. But you would at least get that kind of like, I don't want to say smug, because it's not necessarily smug, but like, yeah, I know what I'm doing.
All right, so you go past Albuquerque and continue on your way. You just sort of, drive past it on the highway. But it's been a long journey so far. You've been driving for about 11 hours at this point from Corpus Christi. As the sun sets, you take notice of an abandoned farm just off the road with an imposing red barn, which is still standing. Which would make an excellent spot for you to hide your car and rest for the night.
You said it looks abandoned, right?
From this distance, yes, you can tell that a lot of the wood is deteriorated and looks like there's no movement or anything coming from it.
What time of day is it?
I would say it's around seven or so.
Okay, so the sun's down. It's kind of dark.
Yeah, exactly.
Colt, Colt says, cut the engine and the lights. Just go scope this place out.
Think we should stay there for the night.
If it's abandoned, seems like a good enough spot.
Yeah, I could
So,
probably use a little bit of rest before driving the rest of the way. I think we still got a little ways to go.
is there a good spot to hide the vehicle?
Yeah, what do I see?
So, are you driving up to, or are you looking from
Yeah,
it from
she's
the highway?
starting to drive towards it. She's gonna
Okay.
cut the lights and kind of like edge in a little slower.
All right. So you drive up the dirt road to find a dilapidated homestead, which appears to have not been lived in for years. Whatever livestock once lived here is either dead or fled long ago. There's the wood on the buildings, the barn and the homestead are completely sun scorched. Doesn't look like anybody's been taking care of it for quite a while at this point. There's no working the machinery, like the tractors and that sort of thing. They're all rusted. There's no way for you to get those running or anything. So it seems like nobody's lived here for quite a while.
As we slow up the vehicle, can Colt slip out the door, stay low, and then split off from the vehicle so that he's approaching from a different angle?
Yeah,
And can I do this stealthily?
of course. So you go into the overgrown wheat fields or whatever was here before.
Yeah, and just so that if we start taking fire on the vehicle, Colt can be on a different approach. It maybe won't see him, and he can return fire.
Okay.
And you said I could do a stealth roll.
Yes, go ahead.
And can I use an advantage with that?
Yes.
So does that give me 2 rolls? Pick the highest, or am I adding numbers?
2 rolls, the highest. Oh, 2 19s. Okay. All right, so you've hidden, I guess it would be wheat. It would be more like no, cactus farming or something. So you can be hide behind these like overgrown bushes of cactus, or as you're walking along the perimeter. Yeah, at a first glance, you don't notice anything suspicious going on at this farmstead.
Think about Colt's like being really sneaky. Sig is like the exact opposite. Like she gets out of the car and like it's just stretching, lights a new smoke, just kind of like looking off into the distance.
I think Natalia sort of does that sort of hunched over walk directly towards the barn, rifle in hand, and wants to clear it, make sure it's empty, and doesn't really seem to give a shit about anybody else in this group at the moment. She's just sort of suddenly now looking out for herself.
Axel would stay with Adriana just to protect her from
Okay.
anything going on.
Adriana will stay in the vehicle for now. It's,
How's she
seems like
doing?
um, well, she seems to be, a bit traumatized from, near certain deaths, evading this blockade. But I feel like at this point she's starting to get used to what's going on, so she's not as, innocent, I would say. So she's just gonna sit in the back of the car and hope nothing happens.
I feel like Sig would like lean against the car and like drop her head in the window and just kind of look at Adriana. You ever slept in a barn before?
Well, I've only read about barns. I've never seen one in person until now.
Wow. Aren't you in for a treat, Adriana? Absolute treat. There's nothing like sleeping in pig shit. I promise you. And she's gonna push off and start walking in the direction of the barn with her bag of stuff. Her big old duffel bag of guns.
Okay. So, are we gonna say something, creature?
Is Sig by herself at that point?
Yeah, she's alone. I'm assuming Axel's staying in the vehicle with Adriana right now. Yeah.
Yes.
And Colt's out in the cactus being unnecessarily sneaky when everyone's stomping around.
Yeah.
Okay, then he comes sneaking up through the cactus, probably picking out needles or spines out of his sides. And he hurriedly catches up to Sig and says, "Hey, are you chilled?"
Cool as a cucumber.
I don't know. I just get the feeling like you're okay with getting killed out here. And there's 3 people in there that want to keep on living and breathing, and maybe 1 out here.
What's that supposed to mean?
I think we can all make it through this, but I need to know I can rely on you.
Look, I'm here to do a job. I'm here to do a job to its completion. A really big fucking job, Colt. I mean, these are the kind of jobs that land you a drink in the afterlife, right? So,
I'd rather be having drinks with you, Sig, than toasting to you. You know what I mean?
yeah, well, maybe I don't. Maybe this is all I got. Well, you know, you spend your whole fucking life living for other people, and then one day you don't have to do that anymore. And now I don't know what to do. You know, this is just like who I am now. Like, this is all I know is do the fucking job. Just do the fucking job. I just want to do this job really well.
Okay, when we get through this, I know some people we can hide, but we can hit the reset button, start over. Just gotta keep our heads on straight.
Who made you Mr. Positivity?
I'm always positive. Just don't get to see it very often.
Yeah. Look. We're fine. Yeah? We're good. We didn't have to talk to anybody. We got through it. Maybe it was a little brash, but it did the fucking job. You know, I'm not trying to get anybody hurt. But I'm taking my opportunity with this job.
You see Colt raise this pack of cigarettes. Looks familiar. It's probably yours. He draws a cigarette out and lights it. Takes a long drag. And just stares at you, considering, kind of gauging your demeanor. Sig's demeanor. Okay. Let's see this through to completion.
Yeah. Whatever that looks like.
Takes another long drag. Just think about it, okay?
Sure. You know,
I'm sorry, go ahead.
my sister really liked you.
Mimi was great. I'm sorry she's gone. But you still have a life to live. We all do. And if we nail this job, I think we can all have a future.
Yeah. Maybe we can. Thanks, Colt. And she's gonna she's not gonna hug you, but she's gonna kind of just reach up and give your shoulder a squeeze before she walks past you.
Colt just continues to watch her as she goes back in and finishes his cigarette outdoors before joining the rest of them.
Okay. So we have Natalia. You said you were going to go investigate the barn first. We'll
Yeah.
have you you approach this barn. It's very rickety and very dilapidated. But it's still holding up. You can definitely go inside without fearing that you'll be injured. You open up the large double doors, and you find inside it's been mostly cleaned out, save for the occasional tool that's just been laying there. and some little mice that have been scurrying about against the walls. They just sort of scatter when you go inside. But after a quick look, it looks like it's mostly safe to stay in there. There's no like immediate dangers to be found.
Okay. I think I almost said Mimi. Natalia will return to the rest of the group. Barn's clear. It seems as though it's just some furry friends, tiny little squeaky furry friends, to join us for the evening. I hope you don't mind rats. And she's looking directly at Adriana when she says that.
John has like sort of a fearful or like should I be scared of these rats? Are rats scary sort of thing?
No, they're small-ish. They've got the little tails. They squeak and sometimes bite you. Um, I was in a place for a long period of time. I have a lot of experience with rats, so
Do rats have rabies? I've learned about rabies and I'm scared of rabies.
yeah, they sometimes can have rabies, but just don't let them bite you. It's okay. Don't worry, you'll be fine. Little chickadee, you'll be okay.
All right, so this barn is large enough that you can drive into it and like hide your car inside of there for the night.
Okay. Yeah, I think Sig would do that. She would go back to the car and pull it into the barn. And I think she would just kind of like find a spot to just take a load off, have a seat in the hay, and she would likely just be sitting there cleaning her guns.
Axel would just help Adriana find a place to relax and make sure she's safe from rabies rats.
Just tell her it's kind of like the cat that she knows.
Yeah.
She's like a tiny cat. Unless you're in New York, then they're bigger than cats.
I feel like Adrian would just stay in the car for the night.
What a fucking princess.
I don't know.
Is there a bunch of hay inside this barn?
Yeah,
That
we'll
we're
say there
mostly
is.
Like Colt's probably sitting on a stack of hay, chain smoking. Great idea. But also he's got like the cigarette hanging from the corner of his lip, but he's furiously looking around to see if there's rats that's like sneaking around him. So he's put his back to a wall, and he's got his sub out, almost like he's taking first watch.
I'll be 100% honest with you. I think Natalia is right by Adriana, but on the outside of the car. And if the tattoos didn't give it away, she's gonna start doing like calisthenics. Like I would imagine that might be a tip off that Natalia has spent a long time in behind bars.
She's doing the P90X.
Literally just doing prison workouts.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? With the gun.
I think Sig is entertained by this. Like she's currently like sitting there cleaning her gun. She's got some metal blasting in her ears, and she's like will like occasionally look up and watch you for a minute and then go back to like cleaning her gun. Like, okay,
Yeah.
all right. She may have pissed me off in the car, but she seems kind of cool at least.
Yeah. I think juxtaposition to that, I think Natalia is listening to probably like Russian opera.
Is Colt kind of like off to by himself?
Yeah, he's probably got himself pushed into a corner, a pile of hay, open flames, worried about rats.
Axel will walk up to Colt, kind of away from Sig, and just is everything okay with Sig? I know with Mimi, but the
Without
incident with the
even
car.
looking up, he cuts him off. He said, "Yeah, she's fine. Don't worry about it." And he slams the slide closed on his SMG. She's fine.
Okay, I trust you. And I'll turn away and see this Russian workout situation going on, and
You got Russian workout tapes?
apparently that's what we got playing over here next to the car.
Yeah, this is Natalia doing calisthenics. Leave her alone. She had a routine for a long time. You can't break up the routine, okay?
All of a sudden, Colt's really attentive and your best friend.
Yeah.
Axel will just find a comfortable spot to sit down.
Okay, so this is going on for a while, right? Um, and Axel, you begin to hear some a faint sound coming just outside the barn.
I'll walk to the edge of where the door is and just peek out to see if I see anything.
So you look out as you hear this what's clearer is like an old music coming from the gramophone. And you look outside and you see coming from the homestead, there is a flickering candlelight in the window and tattered curtains blowing in the warm breeze.
Seeing this, I will slowly make my way to Colt. And if Colt, are you awake, sleeping?
If he's not awake, he's in like a semi-conscious state. He's probably still
Alright.
smoking though.
Seeing the cigarette in your mouth, I'll touch you to make sure you're awake or whatever. Colt. And a
Before
whisper.
your hand even touches him, his SMG is like tucked under your chin, the barrel.
Whoa,
Then he opens his eyes and he's like, "What is it?"
It's just me, it's Axel.
Lowers his weapon.
I see a candlelight in the homestead. I think we should go check it out. But I don't want to alert everybody and cause a big ruckus.
All right. I think we should tell someone before we leave.
Who do you think we should tell?
I'll go tell Sig.
Alright.
And then Cole's just going to go over to Sig, give her a tap on the shoulder, and then indicate that he and Axel are headed to check out something.
What? Did you see something?
I don't know. He's spooked by something. Didn't make sense what he was saying. We're going to take a look.
All right, well,
Back.
be careful. Well, she like looks over at Natalia. We can watch the girl for a minute.
You ladies have fun.
Yeah. I'm just gonna listen to some music.
Natalia's still doing calisthenics.
What is Adriana doing right now?
She's you see, well, you can't see her 'cause she's sitting in the back of the car. She's just sprawled out, taking a nap in the back seat. I guess sleep time because it's at night, but yeah.
I think when the
Alright.
boys walk away, like, Sig kind of glances over at Natalia, like, I'm gonna fuck with her.
Natalia is just like, eh, all right,
It's kind of easy.
how so?
I don't know. She's just so delicate. She takes everything wrong and weird. She's scared.
I don't really handle delicates very well.
I mean, she spent her whole life in a lab, so
At this point, does she know that she's a clone? Natalia knows that Adriana is a clone?
Yes, Natalia would have learned this from Boris.
Right, yes. Um, Clones, man. My brother's got a lot of opinions about this and that they're fucking sterile, right? It's wrong.
it's weird.
It's beyond weird. It's unethical. Sorry, Adriana. Your existence is sort of like a crime on humanity.
I love it. We're just standing here talking about her.
I think
She's
Natalia Natalia's just like looking at her sleeping.
Through the car window.
Through the
In a
car window.
not creepy way at all.
It's Natalia. Have you figured out yet that she's kind of creepy? I think. You want me to fuck with her? Because I'll fuck with her.
I could probably fuck with her. Let's wait
Natalia's.
till the boys get a little bit
Yeah.
away, though.
Yeah, of course, no problem. And Natalia sort of just like watches it. She already knows what she wants to do.
Okay, so Axel and Colt, they head outside. I'm gonna switch scenes real quick. So you head outside towards the homestead. And as you approach closer, a young woman leans out the window. She watches the nighttime horizon wistfully for a few moments and then retreats back inside.
Both Colt and Axel see that.
Yes.
I told you I thought I saw something.
I gotta say, there's something entirely unsettling about that.
Yeah, there shouldn't be nobody here.
Sorry, Dory, you said that was the second floor.
Yes, it's going to be on the second floor.
What's the approach like on this building? Is there an exterior staircase?
Yeah, there's just like one step and then into the front sitting area and then inside.
All right, Colt's definitely got his SMG shouldered at this point, but he's now entering stealth mode. So can I roll stealth again with advantage?
Yes.
Can I do the same?
Yes.
Alright. I gotta remember where this. There it was.
Okay, we got well, are you sure you're rolling right? You rolled 19 three
Yeah.
times.
I didn't make roll 20, buddy. I pressed a button.
Okay.
I need to clip that. I'm sorry. That's really funny.
To make roll 20.
Where is the. Oh, there it is.
Oh wait. Never mind. Okay. So we got a 23 from Colt and a 15 from Axel. Okay. So the two of you enter the homestead to find it has been left untouched from what seems like years. A thick layer of dust covers the tables and furniture. Your boots creak over warped wood floorboards. The air itself smells faded, filled with dust, and vacant of life that once inhabited these empty homestead rooms. Just ahead of you is a set of stairs which would lead you to the woman you saw.
I think I would gesture to Colt, like, let's investigate up these steps. You first, I'll be behind you.
These steps wooden and creaky or carpeted and silent?
Wood and creaky.
Oh, great. So, are we able to be stealthy on this approach?
Well, you already rolled your stealth, so
Okay,
we'll just
so-
take that.
Magical.
Yep.
Creak my way up these stairs and stack up on the door where I think this mystery woman is.
Okay. So you reach the top of the stairs and you see that all the other doors, aside from the one directly in front of you, has been closed. It has been nudged open with candlelight pouring onto the wall.
Got candles in here?
Yes, you see some, there's like a desk next to you, or like a, I don't know what to call it, like a place where you could put a candle sitting there.
This
I think
is
they're
like
called
someone from-
tables.
That's the word.
Just like someone penning a letter in the 19th century type of candle work, or is it like social
Yes.
clubby candle work?
No, no social club.
Okay. Okay, Colt is going to... What kind of knob or latch is this on the door? Well, whatever it is, he's going to, as quietly as possible, disengage it or test it to see if it's locked.
So the door that would lead to where you think this woman is, that one is open already, just a bit. So you'd be able to just like walk into it.
All right. Colt's going to peek an eyeball through there to see what he sees.
Okay, so you look through and you don't see anything at the get-go. You just see straight ahead, you see the window. There's a bed next to it, and nothing else really. The woman is mysteriously not there.
Okay, Colt's going to shoulder his SMG, have it pointed through the crack in the door, and slowly... Well, you said it's fully open, didn't you?
It's
Door.
open. It's opened. It's not all the way open.
Okay, well, he's going to basically follow the angle of the door with his gun to open it
Okay.
fully.
And Axel, you're right behind him.
Yes.
Okay. So as you step inside with your weapons drawn, you feel uneasy. You can sense something's not right. The candle is faint, but you're able to make out standing just behind the door to your left. So the door's to your right to left. You can make out standing around the room are the silhouettes of heavy armored soldiers covered in dark clothing. You're only able to make out the faintest detail. You spot the familiar insignia of Arasaka on their body armor. The candle light goes out, and the door slams shut behind you. We're going to go back to Sig and Natalia, who are in the barn at the moment with Adriana, our beloved clone.
Definitely not considering doing some goblin shit. I think as Sig like watches the boys exit and they kind of have this little moment together, she's gonna look at Natalia after they've had this like let's fuck with Adriana bonding moment, and you see like her features soften the slightest, as much as Sig's features are capable of softening. She just kind of looks at you, cocks her head a little bit. Yeah, you're not that bad. Just maybe don't bring up my sister.
think Natalia will kind of look at you for a long moment and sort of study your features. And you can see her eyes kind of dancing around a little. I understand. I understand.
Thanks.
And I think maybe you'll understand in that instance that Natalia also understands loss, is what she's saying, and grief. Not so much in death, but in her own life.
Yeah. Appreciate that.
Of course.
And then she's gonna look down, kind of like lean over into the window and look down, and then grin back at Natalia.
Adriana is sleeping, correct?
Yes, she is currently sleeping.
Currently.
Currently.
Natalia's gonna sort of bring a finger up to her lips, and she's gonna raise her hands on top of the roof of the car where Natalia is sleeping, or Adriana is sleeping. I'm Natalia, that's Adriana. And she's gonna motion for you to do the same thing.
Yeah, she has no idea what's going on, but she has an inkling, and she plants her hands up on the top of the car.
Would you like to see some Russian wake-up call?
I feel like I should be educated.
It's a cultural moment, truly.
Truly.
And Natalia is going to bring her hands down as hard as she can and batter along the roof of the car and shout in, like, probably the thickest Russian she can ever muster. It's her native language, so pretty fucking thick. For Adriana to wake up.
Adriana, she almost like jumps at this. She gets so high up in the air, she hits her head on the ceiling, and she falls back down. She starts looking around, completely confused about what's happening at the moment. She's too dazed from her sleep to know what's happening. She just looks around and sees you two just staring at you.
I think that did the trick.
Good morning, princess.
But it's not the morning.
I know, I was being facetious. You understand that word, right? Being a clone and all.
Yes, I think I do.
Sarcasm. You get sarcasm. See,
Um,
that's the problem right there. She looks back at Sig. That's the problem. The loss of humanity there, right? It's all clinical. It's all so sterile. And she sort of speaks about Adriana like she's not there, or she is there, but she's really like a subject. She's not human to Natalia. Clones. Would you like to know my opinion on clones, Sig?
Yeah, I think I would. I mean, it's all science mumbo jumbo to me, but honestly, something seems weird about it. Not quite right, but you know, I never was the educated girl in the family. So educate me.
Well, I would be happy to. You see, the problem there is you're wrong. It's not all just science mumbo jumbo. It is religious in all forms. Man gets bored with man, right? Common theme, man versus man. But man gets bored with man. Man thinks that suddenly he is God. And then creates man. Like the rib from Adam created Eve. Forgive me if I get a little bit philosophical at times, but are either of you two ladies familiar with Immanuel Kant?
A cunt?
Can't. She tries to like pronounce it a little bit easier. Can't. K-A-N-T. Can't. Manual can't.
When you spell it, it doesn't change anything for her.
And don't worry about it so much. He was a philosopher. Right. And Kant was sort of a man who decided, there's not a lot of gray in the world. And I sort of find myself ascribing to that a little bit because, truth be told, I think that life is a lot easier with no gray in it. A little bit ironic, that's how I ended up in prison. That is the first time that Sig would know then a little bit of Natalia's background and where the tattoos come from.
You see like a knowing smirk kind of draw across her lips when you say this.
So, with this in mind, this black and white, cloning isn't so much that scientific issue. I think that's with science, you should be able to expand and go as far as you can go within reason. There is an ethical debate to be had here of what it means to clone a human. It started way back when with cells. Can you clone a cell? Okay, great. Then you go to larger animals. You go to frogs and rabbits and sheep, whatever, But those animals don't hold sentience, per se, consciousness. They don't know who they are. A person does. That's what separates us from the rest of the wild, right? No? We have a stream of consciousness that I know I am Natalia. You know you are Sig. You know that you are human. You know that you are person. You have personhood. You have autonomy. But the problem is when you start cloning, where does that consciousness go? Where does that consciousness come from? And then how far do you go with it? Do you strip our humanity away, our personhood? So, I find cloning to be a reject of science, of legitimate science. And she's going to let her eyes kind of fall down to Adriana. Not to say that you are lesser than or anything because you are a clone, but you are not them. Where is your spirit? Where is your soul? Where is your consciousness? Does it lie with the first of your clone brethren, or does it lie with you? And where does that cloning take us? Eh? Designer babies is next, maybe. Do we choose to play God and decide what diseases are eradicated, right? That sounds really great. But what is the end game? What is the end goal? What does that look like? Do we leave the undesirables and cast them aside and make purebred human? Because again, we're not animals. We're not dogs. But who am I to say? I'm simply a techie. What are your thoughts, Adriana? I am so curious to hear from a clone firsthand exactly where that consciousness lies.
You see Sig like lean against in the car and kind of drop her head into the window. Think you got a soul, Adriana? Just rattling around inside there.
It's hard to say. I'm not like you. I do not have a fleshy brain. I have a computer in my head. But I can feel just the way you can. I can feel sadness, happiness.
So can an animal. But do you have the consciousness and not furthermore, do you have the energy of a human? So it was Thomas Young, way back in the 1800s, many, many, many years ago, who coined the term energy. And energy cannot be created nor destroyed. Where is your energy?
They're in the battery cells, which power my brain.
Wait, you're telling me there's just wires up there? No gray
Yes.
matter.
I am fully machine.
Your flesh is just what's the clone of you?
It is the cells from my sister. It is what makes up most of my body, but what's inside is not real. Well, not real in the same sense that you are.
Oh, man, this rabbit hole's getting fucking deep fast, isn't it?
You see the issue here. You see the issue with cloning. Because what is to stop these scientists who create women like Adriana? With Dr. Young, you are a scientist, are you not? What's to stop you from simply eradicating human life only to replace us with you?
I don't have all the answers. I am just a product of experiments. You'd have to ask my father that.
I intend to.
She says that a lot.
Yes, it's a scapegoat, really, because you are an educated woman. I use the term woman sort of loosely here because you're all hardware, right? So I ask you, Adriana, you are a scientist, no?
I am.
What is your scientific ethics on you? And what stops you from making me like you?
There's quite a bit of advancements that even just the research in myself has benefited humanity.
Certainly.
We understand cellular regeneration, how to cure all manner of diseases and afflictions which thousands or even millions of people suffer from.
Yeah, but Talia's bringing up a good point here. When does the cure just become a replacement?
Exactly. You have not answered my question, Adriana.
You know, I've met a lot of men in my life who like to play God.
Mm-hmm.
Some in different ways than others, but shit.
Like I said, I don't have all the answers. I'm just a product.
I'm not asking for all the answers. I understand that you are just a product of your father, but again, I say you are a scientist, Dr. Young. What is your personal ethics to find the stopping point? Where is your personal stopping point? I wish to know, I truly, because it does sort of matter a lot to me to know that if we return you safely to your father, that I'm not going to see another 1,000 of you, another 100,000, another million of you in my lifetime. And I think you're a nice girl. Surely, I'm sure you're lovely. However, there is an ethical question to be had here. When do we stop?
I do not plan to follow my father's footsteps once we arrive in Night City. I may be a scientist, and I also may be a clone, but I also feel like there's something more for each of us out there.
Hmm. I see.
When they cloned you, and they filled your head full of metal, did they give you her memories?
Yes, I remember my sister's memories. I've had those implanted into me.
How does that make you feel?
Mm. Feels wrong. I'm I'm a clone of my sister, but I'm not my sister.
And you're not really you, are you? There is a lack here of something very important. That is the problem with cloning. Remember that consciousness I was talking about, the soul? It's missing. And it is sad to see that. Just sad to see men like your father continue in this miscarriage of science. You know, I'm something of an activist. So I landed in prison. And I spent most of my days very much against men like your father.
Sounds like she doesn't agree with him so much either.
Yeah. For now. But if you're just a clone, where does that thought process take you eventually? Will you be overpowered? Mentally. You know what I mean? Can you be fixed in your father's eyes, or will you continue on with this sense of ethical behavior?
I'm not sure if I can be corrected into something which my father would find more pleasing. But I don't necessarily want to find out.
Let's hope to God that it doesn't come to that.
I guess it's really a question, Adriana, of how far you're willing to go.
We'll go to Night City, but from there,
No, Adriana. How far you're willing to go. If you get there, you say you don't agree with these things. I don't think you like what you are very much, do you, Adriana?
it's all very confusing.
I can only imagine what it feels like. Foreigner in a foreign body. A dead girl in a living body. Must be very strange. But if you get there, to the end, wherever the fuck we're taking you, because I only care about one thing, and that's money, Adriana. Getting mine. When you get there, and you know it's wrong, and you don't like what you are, and they want to make more of you, all those more of you out there in the world, that's what you have to think of. That's what's going to sit on your conscience when they make more, because they will. How far are you willing to go? Where does it end? When do you stop it? Because you're the key. They wouldn't want you so bad if you weren't the fucking key, Adriana.
Circle back to Kant. There's a good.
Look, I know I'm a cunt.
Anyway, there is a good moral decision to make. Or there is not a good moral decision to make. There is a bad one. But it is up to you, Adriana, it looks like, to decide which one is which. Return back to your father. Continue business as usual. Or destroy it all. Do some good in this world. The choice is yours.
I don't know my answer, but I think I'll do the right thing in the end.
I hope for the sake of humanity that you would do the right thing, Adriana. But life is full of tough decisions. And sometimes the right thing is the hardest. I know this really well. I think you know how well I know this.
I do.
Don't ever forget that I saved your life at the cost of my sister's.
I will always remember that.
And when it comes time for you to save everybody else, I hope you really remember that.
Adriana's gonna look down at her hands.
I think Sig's gonna look up at, or Natalia's gonna look at Sig. It's me tonight. Got a smoke?
Of course. She pulls out a cigarette and she hands it to you and finally breaks eye contact with Adriana and looks to you. That was an enlightening lecture.
But a lot of strong opinions on what the corpos do with science.
It's good. You should. Maybe if I was a bit more of an educated woman in that world, I would too.
You don't need to be educated in a formal way to know what's right and wrong. You just need to have good ethics.
Yeah. I might be a little shaky on those two, honestly.
Well, if it's any consolation, I spent 5 years because of my good ethics and behind bars.
Yeah. Mine have landed me in an invisible prison for a long time. Sometimes you don't need the bars to feel like a caged animal.
No, you don't. It's up to you to free yourself at that point. But that takes time. A lot of time.
Yeah. I think I'm on my way there.
Do what you think is best to free yourself.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Thanks, Natalia. You remind me of someone I used to know. It's good.
I get it a lot, you know. Oddly enough. Strange.
Maybe it's the face.
It might be the face. It might be. I don't know. I get that a lot. When I was in prison, I got that a lot. It was very strange. I'll tell you something, though, about prison is you meet a lot of people who all sort of look alike. Maybe it was just the time spent. I don't know. They all start blurring together.
Maybe sometime you can tell me some stories or Show me that banging workout of yours.
The calisthenics. It's very good for you.
Now
Let me
that's
tell you.
a language I can understand for sure.
Yes. Let me tell you that if you don't do your calisthenics, then you don't go to chow. I mean, you don't have a good rest of your day. I don't have any unresolved trauma from prison. Other than maybe the rats.
Hopefully we don't see any tonight. For your sake.
Well, I have a gun now. I didn't have a gun in prison.
This is true.
They don't let you keep one. I don't know if you've ever done that before, gone to prison before, but they don't let you have a firearm. It's very upsetting.
All right, so as you guys are, going back to hanging out in this barn, going to sleep, take a nap, whatever, you hear the doors of the barn slam open. Dust falls from above as the entire building rattles. Entering from the dark is Axel and Colt, their arms zip tied to the front of them. Just behind them is a man and a woman. The man is older, wearing a leather jacket, black shirt, and a red bandana around his neck. His graying hair is kept back in a tight ponytail. Battered scars mar his masculine face. It's Bayou Slim, the man hunter that you encountered in New Orleans. Next to him is a gorgeous woman wearing a black leather bodysuit and a gun belt. Blackened low-light goggles dominate her face. She's carrying a large suitcase in her hand. And flanking them is a group of 4 Arasaka soldiers in armored vests and carrying assault rifles. The woman speaks to you. Your friends here were an easy capture. I am Kakuro Kanawa. I work for Okano-san. He wishes to exchange or to negotiate an exchange.
I think Sig kind of straightens as soon as she hears those doors slam open. She straightens from her leaning position on the car, and she looks over behind her where she had been sitting back in the hay where her assault rifle currently is. And then kind of glances back, and as she's seeing her friends being brought in handcuffed, she decides that she's not going to make any stupid moves. And she's going to look to this woman in exchange. She looks to Natalia. What's Natalia doing?
I think Natalia is sort of... She's got her gun out. She's probably just eyes open wide, ready to go.
She has her gun out.
Yeah.
Are they... From where they're coming in, can they see, like, the part of our bodies that's kind of behind the vehicle or not?
So it's them, the vehicle, and then you.
Okay, so I think Sig is gonna kind of look at her and put, like, 2 fingers on her gun and kind of push it down and...
Yeah. I think she would follow.
Yeah.
Adriana decides to step out of the vehicle and step towards Sig.
All right. Enlighten us.
You see Kanawa step aside and open her suitcase, revealing a small video screen. She pops open a satellite link interface, and dials a number. After a moment, you see Seki Okano appear on the screen.
Have I ever seen this person before?
No, he is the Arasaka, or yeah, the Arasaka guy who works with Heart. He's sort of the Arasaka contact for this.
Okay.
That makes sense. I just pulled up a picture of him right there. Seiji Akano.
He's not the one I saw the pictures of.
It was.
It
Yeah,
was? Okay, all right. So I can start putting some pieces together in my head. I
Yes.
have seen this man.
Yes, you saw him in Hart's apartment when you were visiting him to figure out what was happening next.
I'm sorry. Kanawa? That's the name, is Kanawa?
That's right.
Man,
Hello.
that screen is really fucking small. You mind putting that a little closer? You could just put it right on the hood of the car. So I'd really like to get a close up on who the fuck I'm looking at right now.
Kanawa brings the briefcase to the car and places it on the trunk where you can see it closer.
Thanks. You're a peach.
Akano begins. He says, "It's good to finally meet you. I wish to do business."
Business. Right. You look so familiar. I think I remember seeing you. Photographs. Art's place. Wow, it's an honor to meet you face to face. Well, sort of. Oops, I just pushed the wrong button. Oh no, I just did a J.
Hold on. Hold on, I have an emote for this.
Fuck me. I think it's time to start taking my meds.
We're getting real sleepy, Grandpa.
She's gonna look beyond the screen to Colt and Axel. What's the situation there? What does that look like?
So they're standing directly in front. Behind them is Bayou Slim. Behind Bayou is four Arasaka soldiers. They just have their weapons out. They're not pointing or anything.
And they're like restrained.
Yes, they are restrained.
Arms behind or in front of them?
In front. They have them zip tied.
You see Axel just go, "Hi."
Colt's gonna turn and talk to the Sokka soldiers behind him and Bayou Slim. He's like, "Hey, I got a Lucy in my pocket here. Can you grab it and light it for me?" And he's like holding his hands up, his zip-tied hands up.
They completely ignore you.
Fucking corpo pig fuckers.
Come
And then
on,
go
boys.
Back to watching the video.
We
Man, if
can't.
that would have worked.
We can't
I'd
play
ask for this
nice.
game.
The man just wants to smoke. You want to negotiate? We're here to negotiate, right?
Akano nods at Slim and like just do what they say kind of thing. So he reaches into your pocket and puts the cig in your mouth and lights it for you.
Colt seems somewhat pleased with that result.
I think Sig gives you like
And
a little
himself.
wink.
Seeing that work, Axel's gonna go, "I got some candy in my pocket. Somebody want to help me out here?"
Slim is just gonna push your shoulder, like they'll push your luck, sort of thing.
The Sig in her mind's just going, fucking cop bitch.
So Akano's he's gonna continue. He's gonna say, "You have to believe me when I say that I have your best interests at heart. Biotechnica knows where you're going, and they will be waiting for you in Night City. They want you and the clone dead. I want you to live. I am trying to relieve you of your burden. This is my offer. Hand over the clone over to my assistant Kanawa, and I will release your captive companions. Refuse me, and your friends will die. It's that simple."
Did you hear that, boys? It's that simple.
Yeah, seems real simple. You know what's simple too? How about you cut me loose and get the fuck out of here?
You know, Kano. Is it okay if I call you Okano?
Call me whatever you want.
I don't think you want that. Anyways. Doesn't seem like a very good deal, does it? Because, you know, I'm expecting, well, all of us are expecting quite a few eddies from Miss Adriana and her safe return. I didn't hear anything about eddies in there. Did any of you hear anything about eddies in there?
I didn't hear anything about the deeds.
Yeah, strange.
It's very strange. Strange indeed. I don't really like that so much.
You think that you think that I'm just gonna hand her over for what? For a cop and a drug addict? That's your deal.
Colt kind of furrows his brow, but then nods in agreement.
I'm sorry. Am I the only one seeing holes in this negotiation?
It's pretty holy. I'm not the kind to go to church for.
Do you really think you can continue to cross Biotechnica and survive? I'll let you on a little secret. Tomorrow, they're going to make the news of the clone's existence public. It's going to be all in the news, complete with your pictures and all. How much further do you think you can really get?
I mean, we've gone pretty far, haven't we? We're just a hop, skip, and a jump over that border to Night City.
Why would they do that now? They had plenty of time to do that before. It sounds like bullshit.
Oh, now let's not release our pictures. Come on now. Sure, we can come up with a different deal, better one for all of us.
Colt raises two middle fingers. He says, "Quick, snap it. I got something for the 6 o'clock."
When you get into Night City, you're on Biotechnica's turf. You've just been running around all of America. When you get there, don't know where you are. Don't know when you first step inside that city. But if you accept this deal, I'll make sure it all goes away.
Let's see if she's lying.
Yeah, make a perception roll for me, please. Human perception.
Okay, I got to find it first. I'm sorry.
and we will. Uh, you'll be contesting against his cool.
Okay. Okay, I did it. 15.
All right, I don't have his stats, but I'll roll here.
Roll low. That's very low.
That was just the roll for the dice. So you're able, so you don't feel like he's lying to you at this moment. He's definitely telling the truth that Biotechnica plans to make this whole thing public.
Do I feel like he's lying about getting us a deal, though?
Yes, he will. He will. You don't sense any lie about releasing the two for Adriana.
Let me phrase my question better. Do I
Okay.
think that he is going to stab us in the back regardless, is what I'm trying to get at?
No,
No, I don't think that.
you do not think that.
Okay. I think Natalia will sort of lean into Sig. Deal might be fair. But are you willing to release the girl?
It's very convenient that we know this information, Mr. O'Connor. It's almost like you could be potentially working with Biotechnica. Strange. I mean, plan to release all this information and you just drop this right on our plate for us. I still didn't hear anything about Eddie's, though. I can't speak for my companions, but just the bereavement costs alone on my part would be a nice little benefit. It's almost insulting, you know, with how far we've come, with all the bullshit these people have put us through. And do you honestly think that I give a fuck, Mr. O'Connor?
Are your friends' lives not worth anything to you? Are they all just Eddie's?
That wasn't very nice, Mr. O'Connor. No, it wasn't. Do you feel better now that you've said that? I don't see anybody else really speaking up. Would anybody else like to speak up what they feel about this whole situation?
I'd like to not get killed, but I also don't like this deal. Sounds like shit.
Smells like shit.
It is a pretty bad deal. I want to live. I want Eddie's. Was expecting to do things with this deal. Besides, what are your plans with Adriana anyways?
This is a great question.
That will be my little secret.
There's the corpo. Love to see it.
It's ironic, isn't it? Or coincidental, rather. We're just talking about corpos and my thoughts on corpos.
Yeah, and what they would do if they got a hold of her. It's just so strange, isn't it?
How funny does that work out? I think Natalia at this moment will sort of look at Sig and shoot her sort of this wild-eyed look, like, do you want to fuck shit up with me? Is this how we become friends?
You see, I've had some really enlightening conversations this evening, Mr. O'Connell. That is, while your people were busy manhandling my men and putting them in bindings. Some really just eye-opening conversations about future of technology and this beautiful young girl. Well, and she like looks at Adriana and like her fucked up face that they gave her. She was beautiful, at least. I'm sure someone out there is mourning that. And I just really don't like that. As I was telling my friend Natalia earlier that, I've met a lot of men in my life who enjoy playing God. I'm not really a fan of that. Do you like to play God, Mr. O'Connor?
God is all powerful. We cannot even match his strengths.
That's probably the most humble thing you've ever said in your life, isn't it, Mr. O'Connor? It's really sad that there's just a handful of people here to witness that moment from you. And you're just not really sweetening this deal. And I feel like every time you open your mouth, you're actually making it worse. So, I'm going to ask you again, Mr. O'Connor. What are you going to offer us that we actually give a shit about? Because I can tell you your offer means nothing to me.
Okana will look to Kanawa and give her a nod. And then she'll raise her hand like this, and the soldiers will pull up their assault rifles and point them at Colt and Axel.
Whoa. Hey. In his pocket, there's some candies. Would you mind reaching in and pulling a couple out?
I think Natalia's like slowly raising her rifle, like looking at Sig like, can I shoot them now, please?
Sig is just, her eyes are just burrowing into Okana's through this screen. And she does the... no, see, I think that's the wrong answer, Mr. Okana. And she's gonna reach in her vest and her leather jacket, and she pulls out her pistol and she's going to push it against Adriana's temple. And as she's doing that, her back arm is wrapping around Adriana and she's kind of like squeezing her, like leaning into her and pushing her against Natalia so that she's sandwiched between the two of them. Do you really want to hurt my friends? Because, as we said, we've had a really long talk this evening with Miss Adriana. And it sounds like everything you want is right inside of there. And she starts tapping the barrel of the gun against Adriana's head with enough force that she's kind of like pushing it all inside of there, and those little wires and metal bits and what's that word? Synapses? Is that the word? And she looks over to Natalia and like her mannerisms and her voice are starting to become a bit manic now. You can see in her eyes that she's like, they're kind of like darting around, looking to you, looking to Okana, looking to Adriana.
I think Natalia will have her rifle up, shouldered, and like would position herself in a way that they can't really get a shot on Sig. And will sort of, without looking back, yeah, synapses. That's just right. You call yourself uneducated.
Okana will have a stone face that quickly turns sour. He'll say, "Let them go, Kanawa-san. Cannot allow the clone to be harmed." And he'll look at Sig and Natalia.
She taps the gun a few more times. And you see that, like, he can see that her fingers are on the trigger. Yeah, don't want to hurt her, do we? God forbid you shoot me. I mean, I got a pretty tight grip. Might just twitch a little. Don't want to make any strange movements. Because after my little conversation today, I love to blow this woman's brains out in front of you. It would bring me nothing but joy.
Colt's going to turn around and face. Is it Bayou?
Yeah.
Bijou? Bayou.
Bayou
Bayou
Slim.
Slim. And he holds up his zip ties, expecting to have them cut loose. He says, I recall having a submachine gun, an H&K, and a Colt handgun. I'd like to see those returned to me, please.
He has the bag which has like weapons. He'll drop it down onto the ground. Nakano will say, "This will not be the last you hear of me, unless Techna gets to you first." Kanawa pushes Axel and Colt forward before turning to leave, back towards Sig and Natalia. Bayou Slim, he turns to Kanawa with anger in his eyes. "You promised me the fugitives. To me. That was the deal." Without looking at him, Kanawa draws her pistol and puts one bullet between his eyes. Slim drops to the ground. Kanawa turns to leave, saying, "The deal has been renegotiated." And Arasaka leaves, Slim's motionless body lying there with blood running down his face. They leave the barn and you
I
hear
think
this,
as they're leaving,
yeah.
did she leave the screen up or did she take that?
She took it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So like as they're leaving and just before they walk out of the barn, they'll hear Sig say, "Send your fucking dogs, pigs. We'll be waiting." And she doesn't drop the gun from Adriana's head this whole
Right.
time. Like, it's staying there until she hears people fucking going.
That's when you hear the roaring sound of a AV4 come down, an air vehicle, and all of Arasaka mount up inside and they fly off as soon as as quickly as it landed.
I think when she hears that, she's gonna nod to Colt and Axel, who just got released, and be like, you know, go out there and make sure everybody gets on that fucking plane.
Colt's already in that bag, handing stuff from it to to Axel and securing his own weapons. And then he heads to the door.
Yeah, Axel will take his guns, make sure they're loaded, and follow right behind Colt to make sure everybody is indeed leaving.
You look outside to find no one there.
Looks clear. Do you think we need to scope the whole area out?
I don't think they're hanging around. I think Sig give him plenty to think about.
Yeah, I think we all have plenty to think about.
I'll take watch just in case.
Is Sig still holding a gun to Ariana's head? Or Adriana's head?
Patreon.
I think when you guys come in and say that like everything's clear, she's gonna relax and put her pistol back into her jacket and loosen her grip on Adriana. Well, that was unpleasant.
Nice, quiet farmstead, huh?
Yeah. I don't think anything's gonna be nice and quiet for a long time. Sorry, boys, I didn't mean it. I don't want to see you get killed.
You said what you had to.
Yeah.
You had to negotiate. It's understandable.
She was talking to me.
She looks to Adriana. Just remember what I told you.
I will.
Think maybe we can get some real rest tonight. I doubt anyone's coming back. Not after that. They're scared. I feel like they just want to bait us into the city now.
Yeah, I think they've got anything for us. We'll see it tomorrow.
The whole thing's just...
Think that was a bull story about releasing all that info.
No.
I don't know. Could have been. Maybe not.
I don't
Eh.
think so.
I
think
hope
they're
it was a
going-
bluff.
I think they're going to do it.
I think it's all sus, though. I mean... Why send Arasaka? Why is Arasaka making a deal with us and telling us what Biotechnica's gonna do? None of it's adding up. None of it makes sense. Am I just crazy? I mean,
Now you got me. I don't know why they would do that now.
just... We've been watched for a while. There's our proof if we needed any.
Yeah, that's for certain.
I don't think we
I don't know how
needed
they
it.
tracked us here.
We were just waiting. I mean... That kid in the diner obviously ratted us out, but... I don't know, it was all too convenient. Everything just seems really convenient right now.
No. We should get some sleep, but we'll have to be extra frosty.
Yeah. Yeah. We're gonna be making our way into the city tomorrow. I think we need a good night's rest. Catch up, because no good's coming our way, guys. I think we all know this by now. I think Sig is going to walk outside of the barn and just kind of stand out by the edge of the field where the cacti are and light a cigarette and just kind of listens to her music in her implant. She's got it cranked pretty loud. And she's just kind of processing all the things that have happened, and in this moment of just quiet and solitude, making sure that no one's followed her out here. She just takes a big, long, deep breath. And for just a split second, she lets that control drop for a minute, and she allows herself to cry. But it's just like a moment before she buttons it all back up and wipes her face and stubs out her cigarette and goes back into the barn and takes her place in the hay and lays down for the night.
When you turn to go back into the barn, you see Colt was like leaned up against the open door, smoking a cigarette, kind of staring out in your direction. But as soon as you turn to come back, he turns and heads back into the barn.
I think she, when she notices you standing out there, when she passes by you, she doesn't look at you. But she probably reaches out and just like touches your arm as she passes. It's almost like she's just trying to ground herself by touching you.
Colt settles back into his anti-rat hay fort in the corner. Cigarette, lit cigarette, submachine gun cradled in a quasi state of not quite awake or asleep.
Is Adriana at all rattled from having this gun in her head?
She's currently sitting in the car. She's not sleeping. She's wide awake.
She's never sleeping again.
I imagine her sitting like totally straight, like legs crossed, hands in her lap, just like staring forward, just like waiting for the car to take her again.
Like a sim.
Yeah.
She's got like a little green diamond above her head that's circling slowly, but this one time it's actually red because she's pretty distressed.
Exactly.
That's my mental image of her right now.
Oh no. Hope she doesn't light the fireplace in the barn.
Oh no! All the doors are disappearing. What's happening? There's a pool here now, though, but the ladder is gone. Look, the wheel's turning, but the hamster's dead.
Yeah. So Axel will definitely climb in there and just check, make sure she's okay. Ask her, yeah, if she needs anything or anything.
Do you think Sig would have shot me?
Yes. She would have shot you.
Thanks.
Yeah.
I think I want to be alone right now.
I can understand that. And I'll get out and close the door.
Ooh, spooky.
She's gonna have sig issues later. Axe was gonna go take a rest if he's able to, somewhere.
Yeah, there should be a rat nest somewhere around here you could sleep on.
Fucking cop bitch.
Hello, darkness, my old friend.
I'll be honest with you. I think Natalia is probably the one who's holding up the best after all of this whole situation. She's like, yeah, it's better than prison, I suppose.
Got a new friend. Might kill
Yeah.
a clone later.
Just scraping toothbrushes on the floor.
Yeah, I don't have to deal with the prison guards. That's great. I have my gun back. Love that. Natalia's like, she's like out. Well, imagine Natalia sleeps on the roof of the car. I don't have to explain myself to you people.
Like a fucking cat.
Yeah, kind of. But she's like, but it's like hard, like a prison cell, so it's like familiar to her. So she likes
No
that.
4-star gulag, but it'll do.
Yeah, exactly. And she's like she's like spooning her gun and sleeping like that.
Are you spooning it, but the barrel's like in your neck while you're
Yeah.
spooning? This is
Nobody-
exactly the imagery I see. It just
Nobody-
her sideways. She's like this. The barrel of the gun is just stabbing into her neck.
So one, I think she likes that. We don't have to explain that. Two, I think that her mental state is, listen, if anybody's gonna kill me, it's gonna be me. Nobody is getting the jump on Natalia.
All right, so everybody picks their spot to rest for the night. And then comes morning. So everybody wakes up at their own leisure, I suppose.
Natalia's like all sunshine, like, oh, good morning. I slept great.
Yeah, I think per usual, Sig is like up nice and early before the sun rises. She's already been outside, like doing her normal drills, listening to her music, just like really in her zone. And then she, once the dawn hits, she walks into the barn where everybody is. I imagine she would probably go straight over to Colt, who's likely, I would assume, Colt, you're sleeping sitting up with your gun in your lap.
Well, it looks like he's sleeping, or maybe that he's kind of awake. It's just hard to tell with him. A burning cigarette in his mouth, if that helps.
She would probably come over and like give him a little like kick to the boot.
And he says, "Coffee?"
Sorry, champ. We have to go find that.
He just drags his carcass up out of the hay.
What's Natalia doing right now?
Calisthenics.
Okay. Hey, Natalia.
Yes.
Think maybe we can break out that laptop, pull up some news, get a little looky-loo on how much truth our Arasaka friends were telling last night.
I'd love to know just exactly how we're fucked. And Natalia gets in her bag and pulls the laptop up and has it on the hood of the car and is tapping away to pull up the latest news cycle. But just before she clicks enter, she sort of like waits for everybody to sort of crowd around. And she's got her hand over the button to hit.
Yeah, is Axel up right now?
Yeah, Axel's just getting up, stretching.
Come on, buddy. You wouldn't want to miss the big reveal.
Oh, yes, the big reveal. What's gonna go on today?
Let's find out.
I think Sig is kind of gonna sidle up on one of the ends of everybody, kind of all situated together around this computer.
I think Natalia's got her like herself kind of low. If anybody wants to stand behind her, she's like sort of leaned on her forearms on the hood of the car.
She's squatting.
She is. She is. In fact, squatting.
Damn it.
And she's going to go ahead and hit enter.
All right, so you pull up your favorite news, your national news site, and you see playing on that front screen there the presenter just starting their segment. And they say, during a press conference this morning, the Biotechna Corporation revealed their latest advancements in the cloning sector. They say a breakthrough has been made in their cloning development and are the first in the world to create a fully functioning human clone. The team that made this breakthrough was led by Dr. Francis Young, who has been on the forefront of cloning for 20 years. The clone, named Adriana, escaped from a biotechnical lab several days ago, apparently with the help of members of a militant fringe group bent on using her abilities for criminal, possibly terrorist activities. And on the screen there, you see pictures of Axel, Colt, and Sig. These pictures were taken from airport security when you were boarding onto the airship. Adriana was last reported to be somewhere in the South United States. Persons with information on Adriana's whereabouts are asked to contact any office of Biotechnical Corporation. They are offering a €1 million bounty on her return.
Natalia's very quiet.
I think as the news report is going on and they're speaking, and then they get to the part where they show the faces of the three of us, this smile forms on her face, and it's almost like a little light bulb clicks on in her head, like she's figured out a piece of the puzzle that maybe she was missing before. Did I hear that right? $1 whole million for us? For just little old us?
Well, for you three.
And she's like almost giddy about this. It's like Christmas Day for her.
I think as this plays out, the pictures comes up, and Sig is getting this giddy smile. Axel is the complete opposite. He seems like he's sweating, ghost faced, and he walks away just pacing. Fuck. Oh shit. Fuck. Fuck. Oh fuck, my face is out there. What the fuck am I gonna do? And he's just pacing out the door, losing it.
Colt, excuse me. Colt seeing Sig's reaction and the fact that their faces are on the national news outlet. He turns around, puts his elbows on the hood of the car, and kind of slouches down, and then draws a fresh cigarette from his jacket, lights it off as the one he's currently smoking, and replaces it. And then leans back, kind of staring at the barn ceiling. And he says, "Yeah, this is worse." And just continues to blow up huge plumes of smoke.
Hey, Natalia.
Yeah.
Double shot of gin. Half a lime. Just a splash of soda. That's my drink. Try not to forget it.
I like the fizz. It's a nice choice.
Yeah.
You resigned.
Guess we'll see how everything shakes out. But I think someone should know it. And she's gonna walk over to where her stuff is on the ground where she slept that night and start packing her bag. Well, guys, still got a bit of a trip ahead of us. Start getting ready. Get the pavement running.
Colt gathers his stuff and throws it in the trunk.
Natalia stows her gun away in the bag. Shotgun.
Sounds good to me.
Great, because I get horrible car sickness.
Axel walk back in, climb in the back seat, and just goes sweating. Doesn't know what the fuck he's gonna do now that his face is plastered everywhere.
Colt leans over, or he gets into the car across, I guess, the other side, and with Adriana between he and Axel, and then he leans over, holding out the candy, and he says, "This'll make it better."
Axel takes it, looks at it, slowly unwraps it, and pops it in his mouth.
Just as you do that, Sig starts the car.
All right, you reverse, get on the dirt road, and head on to Night City.